3 months ago, I made a video on this channel regarding Lucid, and I warned everybody to be careful with this stock. Don't get into it, it's a hype. I hope that most of you watching the video now also watched my previous video and you didn't get into the stock. The problem is that things are just getting worse and worse with Lucid. So today in this video, I want to talk a little bit about what happened in the last 3 months with Lucid and why I'm still urging everybody to be careful with Lucid. So with that said, stick with me and we'll jump right into it. I've analyzed a ton of different companies on this channel, and I have to tell you, Lucid Motors is a company that loves to overpromise and at the end can't really meet expectations. Let me give you an example. For the Q1 of 2022, they said that their guidance for the whole year 2022 is to produce around 12 to 14,000 vehicles. That is from their own guidance from Lucid, right? Nobody else made that up. And then what happened is that throughout the year, they've lowered their guidance to 6 to 7,000 cars. And now in their fourth quarter of 2022, in their full year report, they say, hey, listen guys, we've delivered and produced 7,180 cars in 2022. And that is exceeding annual production guidance of 6 to 7,000 cars. I don't know, but this is just weird because you've promised us 12,000 to 14,000 cars, right? That was your guidance in Q1 of 2022. And now in Q4 of 2022 and full year, you're telling me you've sold 6,000 cars and you're exceeding annual production guidance. It's just not true. Your guidance was 14,000 and you delivered 7,100. You've performed terribly. So just stand with it and don't say you've exceeded annual production guidance, because everybody and anybody who's somehow involved in your company, who's interested in investing into your company, who's already invested, they will see that, right? I mean, the people are not stupid. They get that. Like they just take the first look at it and they say, hey, wait, what are we talking about? 6 to 7,000 vehicles. In the Q1, you've promised 14,000, right? So that's just a weird thing to say. Another thing that I really want to bring to your attention is following. Lucid mentioned that they had an annual revenue of 608 million US dollars in the full year of 2022. That seems extremely low looking at how many cars they sold, because so let's say they had 608 million in revenue and they sold 7,180 cars, which means that they had an average selling price for each car of roughly around 85,000 US dollars. Now, that is a strange thing. And if anybody can explain this to me, I'm really curious to hear from you in the comment section. But Lucid is known to be the company that is producing the most top of the reach ultra high class EVs that start selling at 85,000 US dollars, and that goes up to like 250,000, right? Let's have a quick look into what they're actually selling. So your selling price of the cheapest Lucid you can get, your Air Pure, is currently 87,000 US dollars. Your All Touring, 107,000, 138,000 for the Grand Touring, and for the Air Sapphire, 250,000 US dollars. So your cheapest car is more expensive than your average selling price. How is that possible? That means you're giving like crazy discounts or you're making some kind of promotions, but something is happening that Lucid is not able to sell their cars for the price that they're listing them. And that's a huge problem. And I've mentioned that 3 months ago. I said people are not willing to pay 250,000 or 150 or 100,000 for a Lucid car, because for that money you can buy a really, really good other car of any brand, whatever you want. You can buy a really good car. So why would somebody choose a Lucid? I can buy a Lamborghini for 250,000. Why would I choose a Lucid? It just doesn't make sense, right? So Lucid cannot deliver on their promises again. Nobody wants their cars for the price that they're selling them. And that was one of the key, one of the unique selling points of Tesla was of Lucid was exactly that. They said, we're going to sell the best cars, most expensive cars, right? Well, it's not happening. So that's definitely a big problem. And all of this, of course, is reflected in their reservations, how many people actually want their cars, right? And if we look at those numbers, it totally makes sense. They have to lower the prices, they have to make promotions. Because in the Q1 of 2022, they had roughly around 30,000 reservations. So they were kind of okay with the reservations, right? And what happened is that throughout the years, those reservations dropped. And in the Q4 of 2022, they are actually having only around 28,000 reservations. So throughout the year, they lost 2,000 reservations. And it's just exactly what I'm saying. It's a big issue. People don't want to buy their cars. They're too expensive. The macroeconomic environment is not positioned to purchase cars like Lucid here, right? And that has coming already. Like I saw that coming 3 months ago. That's why I warned people about it. And it's just, the manifestation of that. It's exactly what's happening now. By the way, just a quick plug. If you enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to comment. Let us know what you think about Lucid. If you're bullish on Lucid, or if you're bearish on Lucid, it will be really interesting to know your arguments also. So give a comment on the bottom what you believe. Like the video also if you did. And if you really enjoyed it, if you want to see more content like this, then also subscribe to the channel. I'm doing weekly updates. So it's a very interesting community that we have here. So of course, everything that we've talked about is reflected in their financials. And that's what it comes to at the end, right? At the end, it's about financials. It doesn't matter the cars, whatever. If you make money, it's good. If not, you have a problem, right? So let's have a look into Lucid's financial and try to, put in perspective and try to understand a bit more of what's happening. So Lucid at the moment has roughly around 4.4 billion US dollars in cash and cash equivalent. And that's good, it's fair enough. They do have some money on the balance sheet, which is good, they can survive. But here comes the problem. Lucid by themselves says that they have sufficient liquidity at least until the first quarter of 2024. Now, the first quarter of 2024 starts in about 8-9 months. You're in huge trouble. You only have liquidity for roughly around 8-9 months. That's a huge deal. So I can guarantee you, I'm certain, Lucid at one point will have to take cash in again. They have to, either issue shares, which is going to dilute you as investor, or they're going to have to sell bonds, which of course at the end they have to pay back. They have to pay interest on it. Maybe they're convertible bonds, just like Rivian did, which is again dilutive, right? So somehow you're going to be screwed because either you're going to be diluted the hell out of Lucid, right? Or you're going to have to pay interest. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time because they say by themselves, after 2024 in the first quarter, that's it. They're going to have to close operation if they can find more cash, right? And of course, a lot of people say, the Saudis are supporting and they have a lot of backing, from the investment fund of Saudi Arabia and so on. It's true, Saudi supports them. But the question is for how long? How much money is Saudi Arabia really willing to pump into that company? At the end, it's an investment fund. They're gonna want to see a return on that money. And if Lucid can't deliver, the Saudis, they're gonna cut that off, right? They're not gonna pump that forever. So Lucid at one point needs to become profitable, right? Otherwise, why would any investment fund continue to pump money in there? I know they have deep pockets. They got a lot of money, but they're not stupid, right? They're not going to pump endless money into that company for nothing. So please, if you're invested in Lucid or if you're interested in Lucid, be careful. Keep an eye on the company. That's all I can say. I'm not saying that, it's the worst company. Whatever. I'm just trying to say, be careful. I know the cars are nice and everything, but you got to be careful in what you're investing in. You got to understand the company, the financials, the operations, and so on. Don't be fooled by, statements and trying to, make the company nice, and they're trying to talk it good, promise a lot, and then they can't deliver. And that's really a big problem. Lucid at the moment is valued at roughly around, I think it's around 13 billion somewhere. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna post it. And I think for the performance of the company at the moment, 13 billion is still too much. I think it's still overvalued because they're not performing very good. So I expect the stock price to continue to come down. We'll never know. I also don't know, right? But from my expectation and from my experience point of view and so on, I think the company is going to continue to come down. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, again, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much.